I think most WoW players that get really embedded into a social scene kind of adopt a publicly facing persona in a similar way that I think almost all content creators do. Now, in the case of content creators doing it, I believe that the persona is crafted to optimize for making money generally. And I think some of the ways that maybe you could believe this is the audience, so like people who watch these videos. It's a bell curve. It's centered on the age of 32. It's a little more skewed on the ages older than that, but it's a pretty normal distribution, and there's a pretty even amount of people who are like 20 and 40. But there's a few more who are around the age of 40, and they're guys, and they're in rich countries generally, and the vast majority of them are white men. And this leads me to thinking it's no wonder, for example, that you'll see a lot of WoW streamers, for example, swap into doing right-wing grifter politics bullshit. I'm pretty right-wing, actually. But I mean, it's just hard to say that they're not doing it in order to make money, and their audiences have massive overlap with just the general white right-wing audience. And so they see that they can shift their content, and then they have much easier stuff to pump out. That they can just start watching Fox News, for example, or CNN, and they can get infinite idea generation that's highly engaging and just shit out videos over and over again. So with the case of media personalities, it's very obvious that a lot of people have publicly facing personas, and they basically are going to split test them and try to pick whatever they think is going to have the best engagement. And I think part of the way you can see this is most let's talk about WoW content creators that stay into WoW content. Nearly all of them pretend that they're very casual. And they're not. They're on the game all the fucking time. And nearly all of them pretend that they don't buy gold, but basically all of them do. Their time's too valuable. You don't see them farming Maradon and stuff, even though they have infinite access to resources. Somehow, they'll always have flasks and consumes, but they'll have 50 gold in their bags. What's going on here? It doesn't make sense, and I never see them farming. It's okay, guys, come on, it's all fake. They're all very serious about the game. Most of them are actually really good at the game. People will be like, Asmongold's bad. They'll be like, Guzu's bad. Shobek's bad. No, all these players are good. For example, Guzu and Shobek were almost gladiator level players. They used to make PvP content, and then they realized that there's actually a really tiny market for that, and they shifted into being fucking goofballs because that's the way they can actually make a full-time living and accomplish their goals. And I don't think there's anything wrong with this. This is just a good example, though, of how people have a real reason to create a online persona, and it's relatively, I'd say it's almost entirely artificial. Not to say that these guys in particular are fake or anything, but they definitely tactically moved the way they were doing their content online to try to accomplish some kind of goal. And people in the game do this too. I don't think it's quite as obvious, though. But maybe a big one that you've seen this with is you can imagine most of the raid leaders you've seen who just love yelling their heads off and getting emotional in raid and freaking out on people, just start yelling and shit. They're not doing this stuff in person. I mean, you just can't live in the real world doing this kind of shit. And in the game, they have some weird self-perception of this is what leadership people do, and they're a tough manly man, and they're a real, and then they probably watch war movies, and they see something like Saving Private Ryan, and some guys fucking screaming shit and it's dude, they're yelling because there's gunfire, bro. You're playing World of Warcraft. Do you think the yelling helps? But they have this mental image of who they want to be, the role they want to play. I mean, for example, it's why do I like raid leading? I mean, it's people like to give answers that are obviously bullshit all the time. Be well, I just think that I do a really good job of it, and I'm fucking sick of being in fucked up raids. Get over yourself, dude. You're not. You can go find a guild that has a better raid leader than you, no matter who you are. If you're not fucking raid leading Eternal or Bricked or just probably 10 other guilds in the world, fucking get over yourself. You're just not that good at it. If you're not one of those guys, you're not that good at it. Like me, I'm not that good at it. It's not how I do it. It's it's I kind of like being a control freak. I think it makes me feel good about myself to do it. People will listen to me, and that's nice. And look, you have more agency over the raid. Doesn't mean you necessarily are gonna use that well, but that's the kind of shit that people actually, for example, get into raid leading for. And I think that this is pretty believable that a lot of these raid leaders, they have like a fake persona that they adopt, at least in raid. I mean, how many times have you known where it's like, oh yeah, like the raid leaders, like they're a really nice guy. I know they like kind of tweaked out in raid. They're like, they're so serious in raid. And it's like, they dissociate when they go in there and they become somebody else. It's kind of fucking, it's hilarious. And there's a lot of people do this at their day jobs too. I mean, I would say if you have a corporate job, or if you have a job where you're not indispensable to making money for the company, like quite likely you have a mask you put on, and there's like this bit of a persona that you adopt. Like for example, I'd say if you work in a big tech company, part of your persona is that you're going to be super PC, and you're going to try to appear really agreeable all the time, and you want to appear like all the things that that happen that are good are because of you, and all the things that happen that are bad are because of like shit that you don't have control over. And this is very normal stuff. And it happens in the game too, and it happens in the game in like way more interesting ways, I would say. For example, there are people who want to be the funny guy. They want to be seen as someone who's really clever and can come up with jokes. There's people who want to just be they want to be outrageously positive, and they want to feel like they are lifting the mood, like they're like buffing the people around them by just the presence that they hold. And then there's other people who I kind of think they want to seem smart and cynical, you know, and they want to say that everything's not gonna work. You've probably seen these people in guilds before, you know, like anything, it's not gonna work, because when it comes to new ideas or changing things in your guild, or like anything involving a lot of people, you could, for example, you can just always be like, no, that's not gonna work, and you'll be right a lot, like way more often than not. And then you can tell yourself you're so fucking smart, like, oh my god, I poo-pooed the idea, and I said that our guild's like washed and we're never gonna make it, and you'll be right almost always, but you won't necessarily get anywhere. But so it doesn't make any sense. But you see people doing this shit all the time. And if maybe you're in a really healthy community, you know, maybe I would say like some characteristics of a healthy community would be that any of the leadership figures, they're not seen as like they're not like in reality super duper core to things functioning. Like for example, in my guild, I mean, if I was saying I'm gonna quit the game, it'd freak people out, like something like that. But like I could, for example, like be like, hey, I want to quit the game, but I can't tell them, like, how am I gonna play less and not fuck this up? And I could pick a raid leader for each of my raid groups and have them start doing it, and I could have somebody else do the roster and tell them that like I'm gonna post it and pretend that I picked it, and people already hang out in Discord all the time whether I'm there or not, and things would just be fine. And this is probably how just about all guilds that have really long average tenure and that have been around for a while, they're all like that. They don't have these people that must be appealed to at all times about everything. Although maybe there's lots of functional guilds where, like, as it relates to raid, like one guy has all the control. Like, I mean, I'm a fucking control freak. That's why it's the guild name. And when it comes to raid shit, if I'm not convinced of something, it's not happening. Which maybe isn't totally positive, but I like it, so it's gonna stay that way. And if you're in a group like this, people still have personas, but you probably won't have like the negative guy persona. And the positive guy persona is an awesome one. It's maybe not as valuable if people are getting along well, but there's some guys. It's still valuable, still really valuable. There are people in my guild that are overwhelmingly positive when things go wrong, and it like really brightens my day. And if I didn't have them, there'd been some raid nights where if things went bad, I would have just been absolutely beside myself. But because they were there, it made things so much more positive. If you're in my guild, you can pick a couple of these people out in your mind, like, for sure. I don't want to like hint at who they are because that'll take the fun away, but there's quite a few of these guys in the guild. And then there's other smaller bits, I think, where people have like a real self-image, that they have this idea of who they want to be seen as, who they want to be, and I can tell when they feel like other people don't see them that way, or they feel like they're not meeting up to it. This is a thing that happens with me a lot. People want to ask me about something, and they'll use language where they're trying to imply that their problem is small, and they don't want to like intrude on my time, something like that. And I'll tell people all the time, I'm unemployed. This is what I do. I hang out with my wife and I play World of Warcraft, and that's it. that's it. That's all I do. I also do some interview practice because I like to stay sharp. Maybe I'll get a big tech job again. I don't know. I mean, it's a lot of money I'm leaving on the table, so it's tempting. And yet still, people act like they're whatever they're wondering isn't all that important. And then I'll get in a call with them, and I'll be like, okay, like, why do you think this problem is not a big deal? I mean, it's a big enough deal that you want to talk to me about it, but then you're using all this language like it doesn't matter. It makes me think that you think you're not worth my time for some reason. And they'll be like, well, no, not like that, because we're good friends, you know? And, like, they'll know that's goofy. And I'll be like, okay, like, come on. We're, like, good friends. Like, why are you fucking anxious about this? Like, what's going on? It's people, I would say, they don't have great theory of mind about when they're not thinking clearly about, like, how are people acting around them, what kind of things are happening. That's, like, the real way to know about how people think about you, and in this case, how people see you, like how accurate your in your head persona is to the reality. And I'd say a lot of it is unfortunate, because I think there's a ton of people who feel like they're not able to stay true to this characterization of themselves that they would really enjoy to stand up to, even though I'd say a lot of them are. Like, a lot of them are. I've ran into so many people who I could just tell they feel really unconfident about, for example, having to take a short break from the game or just miss a raid, and they'll feel like now they're not a reliable person anymore, and that's, like, super important. And there's other people who they have a healthy understanding that the raid group is short of one or two people for raids, like, kind of frequently, and we, like, 38 or 39 man things, and we still get really good times. Like, I mean, I think we got, like, a 36-minute, like, 38-man BWL, and it would, I mean, sure, like, I'd rather have more people, and having the raid filled matters more than it's like the highest leverage task I can take care of is to fill the raid before, like, having good strats or anything else. You know, it's like, get all the people, and then it's like, get them all buffed, and then it's like, do strats that aren't fucking psychotic, but still it's not a big deal if you miss a raid. And I could tell that people feel like it. That's one that I could tell people really feel like it's a big deal. It's a really, 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 really big deal to them, and it makes no sense. And I'll talk to them, and I'm sure I'm utterly unconvincing is, like, another funny thing too when I tell people this stuff one-on-one, because, like, they'll I mean, some of them, they'll be like, oh, thanks, you know, just calm me down. And I'm like, and, like, I'll just tell them, be like, I really doubt this, like, actually made you feel any better. You're gonna, like, do this again. Like, there's a guy, you'll know who you are. We were talking earlier today, and I was making fun of you for being shy about having to miss a raid, and you're like, I'm gonna do it again next time. Oh god, I love you, man. That's so fucking funny. It's unfortunate. I hope it doesn't stress you out, but that shit is it's so funny to me. And I've another thing I've noticed is a lot of people don't realize how obviously important they are to the people around them. I had a lot of friends in WoW, and some friends even who, like, I played WoW with for a bit, and then they've quit, where I've noticed this too, and they don't realize just how obviously important they are to the people they play with online. And it's weird, because you can just think really, I kind of want to say logically, but that's, like, such a cliche kind of thing to say, but it's like this. If me and you were friends in the game, and we were, like, two guys that how about this? It's like me, you, and another friend. All right, me, you, and another friend, and we've kind of bounced around between guilds, you know, and over the years. And then I stopped showing up as much for a bit. You know, you could think that I'm not, like, interested in hanging out with you anymore, or the game, or whatever, but then, like, I come back at some point and I'm, like, hanging out with you, like, all the time, like, you know, really good internet friend. You're, like, fucking in Discord calls with me and some other people, like me and the one other guy in our group of 3, for, like, fucking 3 hours a day, like, every day. And then you might still think, like, oh, you know, I mean, it wasn't playing before, maybe this is, like, maybe they're just not all that interested. It's like, bro, like, people don't invest their time in places where they're not getting a return on it. It's not to say everything's transactional, but, like, with respect to how people spend their time, like, everything is, like, transactional. Like, if I'm fucking talking to you, then I think that talking to you makes value for me in some way. You know, it's like there's tons. I could go talk to the homeless guy down the street about how Jesus is going to like fucking summon demons, you know, and like how we can totally get some cheap meth. But I don't want to do that because I don't fucking value that conversation, you know. Or I've seen a lot of guys. They'll be shy about asking for help in the game and doing dungeons, and they'll think that they're being like, how'd I put this? Like they're being needy or something. Dude, what? What do you think we play the game for? Like fucking, we want something to do. Like we wanna go to BRD. Like I mean, I don't really want to go to BRD that much, done so much, but you know, it's like I kind of want to go to BRD and help somebody get the 75th fucking Hodge I've seen. Cause like, what the hell else are we gonna do? I mean, we play World of Warcraft to like talk in Discord, which we can do in parallel with anything we're doing in the game, and people think that this is needy because they'll be like, I need the thing. And if I'm asking other people to help me out, then that means I'm being needy. Like, no. No, this is not the case. And you should be able to join a guild and ask for assistance. And as long as you just make sure that you're around people in Discord, that it's totally normal. And there's no reason that you should have any weird idea of have any weird mental image of yourself that other people would see. You know, it's like you have like some idea like, oh, like I'm this needy guy asking for help doing the Priebus grind. Like, who am I? I'm new to the guild. Why should they help me? I need to like earn this attention or something first. And then there are guilds that treat new members like that. And if you're in a guild that treats you like that, you should get the fuck out. Cause like, what are you doing? Let me make it clear. All guilds, for example, are all guilds need people. Okay, it's a motherfucker. Like it's like no matter what, your guild fucking needs people unless it's one of the best ones in the world. And then it's not just that it needs people of a very particular caliber. And then things are a little different. But like you're probably not in one of those guilds. Actually, I don't know. I mean, there's some people like that, but most of you motherfuckers aren't in a guild like that. I'm not in a guild like that. I've never been in a guild like that. And so you're providing value just by being there, just by being around, and then just literally just asking for people to play with you is valuable, and you give people a thing to do. But there's all these strange apprehensions that people have, and I really think that a lot of this it stems from like not having good theory of mind, not like really understanding how their avatar is seen by other people in the game. And I imagine this is also a thing that happens in the real world. Although, at least with me, I don't think it happens too much. I feel like I've always like seen this kind of clearly, and I've said I used to say super fireable things at like work all the time, and nothing would ever happen because I don't know. I feel like I kind of like understood how people would respond. And in WoW, it's so much simpler than the real world. So much simpler. Another example of this could be there's a guy in my guild who he organizes just a ton of in-game PvP and PvE activities. A fucking ridiculous amount. And he also is like one of the only people who sometimes he'll kind of like spurg out on people. And just about no one else in the guild does that. But this dude just does so much positive shit for people all the time, all over the place. He's just, you'd have to be crazy not to think he's actually in reality like incredibly nice and kind, even though he might type some like wild shit to you once a month. And everybody kind of gets like, yeah, no, this guy's fucking awesome to have around. Like every once in a while, he's gonna spurg out. He's gonna like say something fucking ridiculous. It's political. He might even say a gamer word. But like the guy's fucking great. He's a great dude, and I know he knows that, and I know that, and I can tell everybody else can tell too. But when it comes to people evaluating themselves, I think they're not nearly as dispassionate about it. I mean, for obvious reasons, it's hard to be dispassionate about the self, but it's not that hard. And there's exercises I feel like you could do to try to help see this. I mean, an example of this would be I used to in 2019 I made a guild with another guy, and he he wanted to play corporate CEO a little bit, and so we had like 10 officers, which was fucking stupid. And, so we'd have big, stupid officer meetings, and we'd have to talk about really dumb shit, like, what are we gonna do about this low performer? And I'd be like, oh my god, like, recruiting sucks. I don't want to fucking kick anybody. Let's not worry about it. Does it really matter that much if the lowest DPS warrior does 45% less damage than the top DPS warrior? Yes, it's fucking, like, a little ludicrous, but also, like, there's just bigger fish to fry in the raid. Come on, guys, we wipe sometimes. And, people wouldn't be able to think clearly about like what would be the ramifications of this if you like remove somebody and how other people are going to see it. They would just think things like, oh well, their people are gonna get it because like their performance is bad. And a thing that I had us do was everybody wrote down all the people that they wanted to make decisions about. And so you'd write the person's name down, so it'd be like Jake, and then you'd write down all of Jake's friends. You were like, I kind of think we need to talk to Jake about his performance. You write Jake down, and then you write like friend A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And then we did this with all these people that they wanted to talk about how we should like discipline or remove from the group or like have a talk with. And then after that, what I did was it's like, okay, so now we have a graph. Like now we have like computer science, we have a graph of connections between people, and we can all see, we can merge these graphs now because we can be like, okay, so like Jake has friend A and B and C, blah, 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 that all care about Jake. And then friend A for Jake, that person also has a list of people, and it's not all the same people. So you can merge those lists together and be like, you fuck with Jake. If you fuck with him enough, friend A gets pissed, and that means the people who care about friend A, their list is also included in the worst case. And then we notice like very rapidly, because the guild did have a very functional social environment, that you, even if you were a lizard person, you had to treat every person with a massive amount of respect, or it could like instantaneously cause a enormous social fuck up in the guild. And this is more about like bad things with people, and maybe you could do this to try to think like, okay, like who the fuck like can you just not get the time of in your guild? If you're in a guild and it's impossible to get a hold of certain officers or the GMs, you could like write down all those people and be like, these people don't fucking respect me, and they probably don't if they won't give you the time of day. And then that would suck, and then you'd be like, you know what, fuck this place. I mean, like, TBH, if any of the officers are like that, you should probably just be like, get the fuck out of here. You should find a guild where everybody is sick. But you could also do it for positive things. If you like feel weird about like how your guildies see you, and you'd be like, all right, like who hangs out with me, and well, who's helped me with Prebus, and who have I helped out with Prebus? And you just think like, obviously, I mean, dude, you're creating value for people around you. They gotta like you, and whatever goofy character you want to seem like to them, even if you're missing the mark a little bit. It's not going to matter all that much because they're still going to have a positive feeling. Just maybe they won't see you in the way you want to be seen. I mean, for example, I've seen people before. There's people in my guild that I've known for a little longer than the average member, but for many different lengths of time. And I've known that they wanted to be seen as very clever, and like they're really good at making decisions, and it's very hard to give that kind of a presence off. It's not really up to you. You need to be in the right situations, and you can really get your thunder stolen. Like, for example, if somebody has a really good idea and they say it kind of quietly, and then I'm like, oh yeah, that's a good idea, and like someone's like, what was the idea? And then I say it again, like, okay, if I say it fucking louder, people might just think it's my idea, and then all of a sudden, people won't realize like, oh, you came up with it, and I mean that's kind of unfortunate, but it's hard to like have a particular way you're seen, but you can still be seen positively. You can still see these very the very important, like the parts that should actually be important to you, the things that like cause people to have different behaviors around you as they relate to you. That stuff you can evaluate just by thinking a little bit, like just a tiny little bit. And so many people have all sorts of weird anxieties and fears about talking to leadership in their guild or other guildies and like seeing how they feel about shit for absolutely no reason. It just totally defies logic. It's like people talking about girl problems like when they're in high school and they just say psychotic things, and people just really crazy, stupid, totally in your head issues that shouldn't exist. Man, this video has gone fucking everywhere. And if I did the headshot video this time because I'm fucking banned for a couple weeks on one of my accounts, but I got a whole lot of accounts, so I'm still gonna be playing the game. If you're looking for a guild, add me in Discord. It's Jake from Tree. And then we will have a very long talk about a whole lot of things other than WoW, actually. And then you'll probably want to join, and it will be fucking awesome. And hopefully you'll hang out in Discord so often that you're a little worried you're going to ruin your life. Because that's the dream scenario, is that you just love it so much that you fucking cause some problems for yourself, right? Thanks for listening, guys. I'm totally serious about that, by the way.